everyone. You're just in time for our weekly chat. And welcome to this week's podcast. And I'll be sharing with you something very interesting because in South Korea, as I've mentioned in past videos, that Christmas and New Year are not the big thing. And their biggest celebrations are Chuseok and Solal. So a few weeks from now, it will be a Chuseok week. And there are other holidays before Chuseok that could extend the vacation from just merely 5 days to at least 10 days. So for this video, I just want to share with you some of the things Koreans do, especially during this season, and if it's really advisable for you to visit South Korea during this season, especially Seoul, Busan, these hotspots and such. So you've known me, I'm Justin. I've been living here in South Korea for almost 5 years now. So I arrived here 2021, and that's just after Solal. So I haven't really experienced Solal during that year. But I experienced Chuseok. And during Chuseok season, there are no classes, no work. And some of the companies would even provide would allow people to take additional leaves so they can extend their vacation and spend time with their family. And even the government sees this opportunity to stimulate the economy in a certain weird way. So for them, family time is economic activity. To some extent, it's correct, but somehow, I mean, prices have been changing and increasing. So that's not really being the case anymore. But moreover, on the vacation side, so the Solal this year starts on October 5, 6, 7. And then since October 5 is Sunday, let me confirm that. Yeah, I think it's Sunday. Yeah, so it's Sunday, therefore there's no effect if even if it's a holiday. So the government moves the Sunday holiday to Wednesday. And then October 9 is Hangbal Day. And then October 3, the day before the Saturday, October 3, it's the National Foundation Day, which I think is also a holiday. So people can start applying for leaves as early as October 2. And then so you'll be on leave October 2, October 3, 4 until October 9. And then people would then apply leaves on October 10 so they can extend the vacation until October 12th. So you'll be out of the office from October 2 to October 13. That's fairly a good, technically a good vacation if you have money. But here's the downside. For Koreans or people, foreigners within South Korea already, it's really hard to move within these days because a lot of people are moving already, those with cars. So if you know, foreigners here rarely have their own car, so we mostly rely on public transportation. But during those days, all the long transportation trips are already fully booked, even buses and KTX, SRT, ITX, Mugunghwa. All of these are fully booked. So if you're interested of traveling, if you're already in South Korea, that could be counterintuitive. So the best thing for you to do is actually to stay within your city and enjoy within the city because a lot of things are still open during this Chuseok. Again, the idea is they want to stimulate the economy and probably allow people to purchase during vacation and such. So for my case, instead of going out of the country, visiting China, Japan, or countryside, I would just probably be staying here in South Korea and Seoul, enjoying majority of my days here, going to coffee shops and such, and resting. So that's the case for us foreigners here in South Korea because again, it's really impossible to book airfare, trips, tickets, and also if there's a Korean app for subway, for the KTX. And unfortunately, all the trips, regardless of the time, are already fully booked. So that's already expected. But when I was talking with my boss, actually, he mentioned, hey, we have a project on Chuseok week. So he'll not be able to enjoy Chuseok with his family. And actually, he said that's a good thing for him. Because actually, with the Chuseok season, there's also a tradition that's being carried over and probably practiced. And sometimes it tends to become very bothersome for a lot of even working Koreans who have been very busy for the whole year and just wanted to rest. And unfortunately, that's not gonna be happening to majority of Koreans because they have to carry on with the tradition and probably get to visit their ancestral and such. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying is that a lot of Koreans also feel exhausted and they just want to take time and rest. So when my boss said that that's a good thing for him and for his family, I now realize that sometimes we have our own level of threshold and we have our own preferences when it comes to how we celebrate our holidays and seasons and such. And for them, sometimes the best vacation is just staying at home and sleeping. I think that applies to majority of us. But moving forward, so for foreigners here in South Korea, that's the advice. But if you're a foreigner outside of South Korea aiming to visit South Korea, I would be very excited for you because first, especially if you're trying to visit Seoul, there'll be less people, less Korean, not less people. There'll be less Koreans. There are more foreigners with the cities. So there's a high chance that you'll be able to meet people from your home country, be able to go to different places, and there are less competition when it comes to transportation within the city. And then this is actually the moment when the season is changing. So now I think the weather is just what's the weather now? Weather perfect. So it's 20. The highest weather is 27. The lowest is 16. And it will be moderately sunny, cloudy. Seems to be very ideal for walking outside, going to Hangang, probably enjoying a lot of cafes, going outside basically. That's the thing. So during the season, it's getting colder. The hot August season is already over. So people are now moving to the rainy and cool season. And then a few weeks from now, leaves will be changing from green to yellow brown, which will be my best and favorite season. So that's one thing. If you really are interested about visiting Korea, I think for example, if you're from a tropical country like the Philippines, Southeast Asia, we do not have autumn except for other countries that has winter and autumn. But like majority of Southeast Asian nations do not have these autumn seasons. So if you want to see this beautiful autumn leaves, October would be the best choice. You can actually do it during Chuseok, but again, the airport will be very crowded because a lot of Koreans also would go outside of the country, travel and such. But going in, enjoying the city, I mean that's fairly okay. And then they do not really increase prices during Chuseok season, but there are some food that would have their price increase. For example, those are given as gifts, some are given as token of appreciation, these things. And you have to be very mindful with your purchases, especially if you're in South Korea. Because it's not that cheap anymore. I mean, everything are very expensive now, especially if you're coming from a country wherein the average salary is relatively lower than South Korea. Probably thinking of having a dinner or eat out would cost you so much. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. So in the Philippines, when I ate with my family, when I visited the last time, I was able to treat at least 15 people, and I only spent around 60,000 Korean won. If I'll be honest with you, the 60,000 Korean won is just equivalent for four people for a Samgyeopsal Unlimited um, restaurant here in South Korea. That's for four people. And if you're eating, like for example, in a buffet, that's only good for two people. So there's a difference when it comes to the expenses and costing. So sometimes majority of people, especially from the Philippines, they would just go to the convenience store, which is very good. It is a very good option for food. I love their food choices. They're also very delicious. But if you want to try the authentic or the Korean experience, the supermarkets would be very ideal for you. Um, the famous one in Line 5, I forgot the name of that market, but that's overhyped. In all honesty, that's not even a Korean priced market. It's a foreigner priced market. There are many night markets or marketplaces here in South Korea that you should visit. And that will be a good topic for our next video next week. But again, if you're planning to visit here in South Korea, Take time to strategize and review what weather you want to experience, what climate you want to experience, and how peaceful or adventurous you want to travel South Korea. And that's our discussion for this week. Till next week. Bye bye.